then coverage ban for the Azir. They could ban away a Xerath if they respect Lava playing it. They could do a lot of different things, and they're going to ban away the Rise. So KT, they're trying to find something for themselves rather than being corralled in the draft by Hanwha Life.
I like that. Proactive in the draft is always, proactivity in the draft, I should say, is always nice. I believe those were Sangyoon's parents that actually came down. We were talking about Gragas. They don't want to let them have Gragas. It is going to be banned. If you ban another jungle pick, then you're going to leave a lot open as counter-picking for the top lane for Smeb, which is also scary.
You think of the Azir and you think, okay, what jungler goes with this? You do think of a tank jungler. So they won't be getting the Gragas for sure.
The god of smiting score. Had a little Rammus there as well.
And the Azir is respected from Lava. So I think of Azir when I see the Xerath. The Xerath banned away. Seeing a little bit more Xerath creeping into this matchup. You know what is open and Lava plays that wins against Azir famously? The Vel'Koz. So we'll see if the Vel'Koz will be considered by Hanwha Life. If you go Vel'Koz, it's a little bit risky because you have Varus Vel'Koz, and suddenly Smeb says, I'm playing AP Kennen, and you're in a little bit of trouble. But the Darius is going to be banned away. The Kennen open. How do we want to approach this? Will it be jungle now? This would be very squishy by KT. I would have thought tank jungler with the Azir. Will they actually do what I mentioned earlier?
Yeah. You were talking about how they might randomly pick Elise and Cogball for just the weirdest draft as it is KT, but it's going to be the squishy one. It's good against the Trundle, but we've seen how Trundle over the course of time has learned how to play against the Kindred, and Kindred has fallen down a little bit here in lieu of the tank junglers in Korea.
But it is Scores Kindred, the man the 2 HP memes were created on that champion. He is the best Kindred we have in Korea as well. Let's see how the early game goes for him. They're really both fighting for the early game with drafts like this. We know that Hanwha Life, the early game, is so central to how they play, with SeongHwan getting ahead or SeongHwan getting behind. And KT have been the most early game favorite team in the past 2 years since the super team came together. Hanwha Life going to blind pick the ChoGath and say, if you want Gnar, it's fine.
Ooh,
and here we go. We get a lane pick. It's not going to be the Vel'Koz. It's going to be the LeBlanc. That's pretty hype from Lava.
Well, you talked about dumpstering the last time these two mid laners came together. It looks like Lava has that on his mind again. He says, I will just defeat you in the lane. That is my only goal. Whereas Kennen, very common for Smeb, just picked all the time. He's currently 4-1 on the pick. He's looking for another win up against ChoGath.
Very likely to be on-hit Kennen in this sort of a game. If you see Zoe Ashe, then you're like, okay, AP Kennen, let's go. In this game, you think AD Kennen because a 4-1 would be very powerful with Azir Ashe in the siege, and the Azir can self-peel, and the Tahm Kench is there for the Ashe. No guarantees, but Deft's got a hook shot, Deft's got initiation, and Score is on the Kindred, who has an invading advantage over most matchups. Korean junglers have fancied the Trundle into the Kindred many times recently. I think KT, a very squishy lineup. We know exactly what they want to do. They want to go big, or they're going to go home.
And that's the fun thing about this matchup. Both of these teams love to play in the early game. They love to get aggressive. SeongHwan versus Score, another matchup I would love to look at. As it's, you know, it's always that 2v2, the mid-jungle versus the mid-jungle. I think this is going to provide some really fun League of Legends here. So I'm excited, specifically in the last regular season cast we're going to have here at SPO TV to end on a series like this.
It's going to be a memorable one. It means so much, Valdez, for both squads and also people on the sidelines. SKT fans, they're right there, ironically, with KT Rolster today, hoping to see Hanwha Life miss playoffs. If Hanwha Life lose and Afrika can seize on that, SK Telecom will play in the Worlds qualifier.
That will be the case, and you never want to give up hope, all you SKT fans out there. So you're cheering for KT tonight. We'll see if they can not let you down. Just don't get excited. It should be okay. But honestly, it's going to be a very, very close matchup we got here. Let's see if KT can crush them this time around in round 2, or will Hanwha Life continue the domination, jumping into game number 1.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Damn.
Okay, well, there is a big gap in terms of the amount of fans and the volume.
That might be the loudest cheer I've heard in the Nexon Arena. Ever. The KT fans are super hyped for this series.
KT fans are there. Hanwha Life still working on their cheer. Obviously, the new sponsor, name sponsor coming in and having to mix up your cheer. Griffin's still working on theirs as well.
Hey, congratulations to Smeb. 400th game in the LCK. Big cheer coming through from the crowd reading that. One of the true legends of the LCK era. He'd prefer to forget the Champions era, but from 2015 spring onwards, there's a reason that I do consider him the best top laner of all time. He has his down moments, but he's been remarkably consistent. And you know what? He says, screw your logic, Papasmithy. I'm going AP Kennen.
You know, I mean, when you look at KT's lineup, you see a lot of squishies, a lot of stuff you would love to play AP Kennen into, but if you look at the side of Hanwha Life, obviously the Varus is there, but to get into the back line, lock down the Varus and the LeBlanc is going to be hard, but again, it is Smeb and his AP Kennen, so don't want to call it before we actually see it.
I actually think Smeb, if you're going to ask me, like, who is Smeb, what is it about him that makes him the best ever, I think he's the best TP mid laner and the best flanking mid laner of all time. TP top laner, I should say. TP top laner, flanking top laner, and his flanking Kennen play is a legendary to people on the domestic and the international stage. So, really hyped to see it. Seeing some big trades happening in mid lane. Both these guys going Corrupting Potion. Reason you go AP Kennen here, honestly, is because, well, you don't have a tank, and at least you do have zone control from AP Kennen in a way that on-hit Kennen can't provide.
Looking for the big flanks from him as the game does go on. Another small thing I wanted to point out from the early game is that there were 2 zombie poros down. LeBlanc, Lava, he's the only one with domination as a tree, so he was the one who put it in the enemy jungle, but it did get spotted by Smeb, and then I believe it was Ucal's or Score's one up in the top side that did get taken away.
Speaking of up in the top side, do notice that compared to our first series where combat summoners were back on both AD carries, Deft has heal. This is the new norm in Korean competitive play, but Sangyoon has the teleport, Ki has Unsealed Spellbook, and Hanwha Life in the previous Unsealed Spellbook meta and recently are very much about packing up and going to another lane if the laning phase doesn't suit them. So if Deft and Mata put them in a bad situation where Hanwha Life are down 2 flashes or something like that, there's a real chance they pack up, go to the Kennen lane, attack it with the ChoGath, and just take first brick, the first turret blood in top side.
We've seen that happen. Double Unsealed Spellbook on the bottom side too. Mata versus Ki can open up some plays on the map if they want to go for their own teleports. And look at this. SeongHwan's going to find the Azir in the jungle. Gets him extremely low, but only the barrier is used here by Ucal.
Takes a lot of pain wanting to go back and ward, and yeah, you're right. Barrier was a summoner. Didn't even notice that one till now. Don't see it too much, but that's the I really don't want to get bursted by LeBlanc summoner spell choice. Again, the interesting historical point was in the first round robin, Lava had a day out against Ucal. Ucal has really warmed up since then and been fantastic in the past month or so. But in this match that happened right after Rift Rivals, it was a 2-0 for Hanwha Life. And the biggest takeaway for me was how much of a domination Lava was able to lay. That was Syndra versus Zoe on the day. He made that look like a counter matchup because he was up 50 CS and got multiple kills.
Yeah. It's hard to do that against a new top tier mid laner here. And Ucal, still young, but doing extremely well for his team. In the bottom lane, we've been seeing Deft playing pretty aggressively, always looking for those cheeky auto attacks onto Sangyoon. And, well, it's Mata and Deft. They have the biggest forward percentage out of any bottom lane, and they're forward right now.
Peculiar choice here, actually, by Sangyoon. Do you notice that he's gone into the lethal tempo on Varus? This is a scenario where he's against no tanks. It feels like the Comet Varus and going lethality would be a slam dunk in a game like this, because even in a siege against the Azir, we saw Ucal himself play mid lane lethality Varus against Azir, so surprising. Watching here in the mid lane though, 2v2.
Yeah, trying to get onto Ucal, but now SeongHwan not in the greatest spot, gonna hop over that pillar, but looks like he is quite fast, gonna poke him down here. He is in position to help him out, and not even a flash is blown by SeongHwan. He is able to get out of there alive.
A lot of confidence to not pull away from that play. With the flash, like you mentioned, going to give up Scuttle Crab control, so that one's going to be picked up by Score. It's 1-1, so this will not be one of Score's 10-0 Scuttle Crab games, as Ucal You know, he did get counterpicked in mid lane, so has to choose his battles against Lava. He's already shot twice.
Yeah. He's been forced to do exactly that, and Lava has been going very aggressive so far.
The thing, this man, there's no dependency on Corrupting Potion because he's got 9 swigs in already.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Corrupting Potion use. I don't know if I've ever seen someone use 9 stacks of Corrupting Potion in the first 6 minutes.
I don't know if we've ever tracked that as well. It's kind of funny that you can see that this time around and how many times he has backed. But yeah, I mean, it's a rough life. You're going up against Trundle LeBlanc. As we've seen what Trundle can do here in the LCK, made a big resurgence. His ganks are just unbelievable with the pillar ambition. Somewhat famously in this season, at least, just going mid, pillaring, getting a flash, going top, pillaring, getting a flash, and then going bottom and pushing a wave with his bot lane. Doing all the work without getting any kills was Ambition's Trundle.
Seen some huge Trundle games, like you're mentioning, not just Ambition. SeongHwan had a fantastic game. I believe it was last series, might have been 2 series ago on this Trundle. Key, just going to teleport in and wants to get the vision down as fast as possible. We'll be laning with the exhaust. The itemization going to be pretty straightforward for Lindarang. Catalyst into the Adaptive Helm could be the choice at some point in the top lane. Abyssal Mask will be the standard choice with the Catalyst. You can go situational out of the Catalyst. You don't have to rush an Abyssal Mask, but given that he has Lava on this LeBlanc and, of course, Sangyoon on the Varus, probably just going to be rushing in onto the Abyssal Mask. Speaking of rushing in...
Oh boy, Deft forced to flash away from those chains of corruption. Was all alone. Motto is actually clearing out the vision. Has retaken control of the vision in the bottom side of the map. Cleared a control ward as well, so he did his job, but his AD carry decided he wanted to 1v2 for just a little bit.
Small moments for KT in the early game, but nothing to really count against them. We've talked about their assignment many times. You're joining us late. KT are desperate for a 2-0 to keep up with Griffin. That would mean they control their own destiny. If they 2-0 their remaining games, and the last games against MVP, who we saw easily beaten by Gen G, and they will finish first. Hanwha Life fighting for 5th spot, as we know.
Could have a fight over this blue buff. Speaking of which, SeongHwan actually did avoid all the vision. Is going to see scores coming in. Who's going to get the smite here? It is going to go to Score. Good feels for KT to start this one off, even though it was only a blue buff.
It's something. Score has to be careful. Lava is lurking around over the wall. I think Smeb's TP is going to be so critical this game. He's going to rush the Merlinomicon just to try to halve the healing from the ChoGath passive in lane. Going for the cull as well. Marin style on that one. Wants to get as much gold as possible. And at 2 items, of course, if you go cull, the first item comes slower, but the second item comes faster. 2 items, if Smeb can start influencing the team fights. If Sangyoon's not long for the world, that'd be big for KT.
Ucal going into the LeBlanc, saying, I am ready to fight you face to face, not scared of you at all.
He actually outplayed him really hard on that one. The shifting sands shield into the Q trade there was very nicely executed from Ucal.
He also did have Score nearby, which I think Lava did see over the ward that's on the right side above Ucal right now. Meanwhile, the Hanwha Life jungler is all the way deep into the red side, actually looking for a potential gank up in the top. As LeBlanc was edging over there, someone going to spot him here, but no can do on the gank. Although...
Very, very respectful on the ward. You'll notice a lot of players end up face-checking this, being like, I wonder if they're on the Krugs, and they get surprised they're being ganked in the brush. Smeb is already shocked. He doesn't have teleport, so he can't afford to take a bad trade, and clearly doesn't want to die, so nicely played there from Smeb.
See a small gold lead here at 10 minutes, and the majority of that is actually in the jungle for KT. 71 to now 53. That is just a little bit more than 4 camps in the jungle already. Going ahead for Score, who is also up a level on SeongHwan.
Ghost Poro was scouted out that time by Smeb. That's probably one of the new runes that we haven't really seen abused in the LCK yet. And Ucal, speaking of abuse, doing very well in these trades. Has the Merc treads already, so the trades don't get quite as one-sided to the LeBlanc.
Motto is also getting in there. Pretty deep. There's a Ghost Poro that is right next to Key. I think that was put down by Score. Is going to be cleared up now. Always important to keep track of the Poros.
Analysis of the comps going as the game goes along for KT. It's a return to, honestly, a lot of their old identities. This time they don't have an AD Kennen, so the split pushing 4-1 comp isn't going to be as prized. Obviously the 4-1 will still happen because teleport top laners are a thing. Lava goes back in. Maybe we get a good side for this trade.
Yeah, Lava, though, on top of the soldiers, gets hit back on the back end of that tree.
Important things for KT are what they don't have. They don't have a true tank. They only have Tahm, Kench, devour one person. Taking the Baron will be tricky because they don't have someone to tank it again from the same perspective as Mata has to cleanse. He was running cleanse exhaust at the time. So closing the game, even if they get a lead, is not going to be trivial for KT. And they're going to need to fight more often than not because Kennen in a side lane can't actually push ChoGath out, so they can't get advantages in the one.
We got another fight down here. This time there's no cleanse as both of the KT bottom laners so low. 1 into 2, the alley-oop it looks like as SeongHwan bites his butt on the way out. That's a double kill in the bottom side now for Hanwha Life, who can look to take a little bit more.
Didn't see how that play started. We knew the trundle was around. That time well executed by Hanwha Life. KT too slow on the counter gank there, and Mata can't even press the great health as he goes into the death chamber. Joined swiftly by the Ashe, and all Score can do is dissuade the turret damage from being too high. They will lose the Drake as a result.
Yep, is an Ocean Drake. Looks like we'll have a second one after that, but it's nice for the lane. Helps out against Smeb's harass, and will make things easier in the trade-heavy mid lane.
Gonna watch how this play happened. Deft knew, of course, the trundle was there. He just cleared a control ward. How did it go oh so wrong? Put 2 control wards in the brush.
Kind of just corralling them over to the top side. He gets the lineup.
Really weird lane spacing from Deft. Very strange for him to kite up. I understand his allies are coming, but it's actually really far away. I think they just really misplayed the lane positioning there. Usually something Deft and Mata are very good at. Deft dies with his flash up as well.
Not the first time we've seen AD carries do that on the world stage. We're here in Korea, but Deft channeling his inner double lift. We'll see if he can survive in the next gank with that flash that he still has. Lava beginning to get more aggressive in his trades as he's picking up some items. Only the lost chapter for now, though.
And as a counterpoint to how we talked about if KT got a lead, things would be tricky, consider that for Hanwha Life, altogether, they have a pretty standard comp. They have 3 champions who are tanks. You might equate the Braum and the Tahm Kench, but they have Trundle ChoGath when it comes to putting down control wards and face checking. They can do a lot of things very reliably on their side, whereas KT just do damage. They have good initiation, they have good damage, but they really can only fight, and because they don't have AD Kennen, they don't really have side lane 1v1 pressure. So it's very much about moments like this, they have to pull them off.
Well, level 8 to 9, and SeongHwan in a huge heaping of trouble. Gonna dunk him down as Ucal. Score also able to hand over the red buff. And, well,
if your comp only does one thing well, which is fighting, especially early, before the tanks are even relevant, you got to do that fighting Valdez, and that's why you see them going aggressively. KT know they need this sort of aggression.
Boy, and, well, Lava getting pretty frisky with no jump forward down. He was not able to get away from all of that harass.
Fast rotational play. KT going back to 2017 spring KT analysis. They want to get the 3 out of turrets down. They want to make these long lanes and then use their flanking play and the Ashe arrow for initiation.
They were thinking about it. Came up the river. In the end, though, decided not to go in onto that mid turret. And yeah, someone just clears the ward. They know he's going to start the red, and easy as pie.
Doesn't actually pull it into the brush, you'll notice. He's kiting backwards and forwards. Normally, I imagine you kite in and out of the brush. You get vision there, and then Azir says, thank you very much. Scoop of ice cream, tastes a bit troll, but he gets it anyway. They back away, nicely done by KT.
Well, SeongHwan, he did get that first blood, but he didn't seem too powered up from it. Generally, he's very powered up, and well, what is this? Now he might just face check Score. to clear that out, but he gets an arrow to the face, and now Key can't really help him out here. The exhaust comes in anyway, but he goes down, just getting way too aggressive invading the jungle.
Seeing both sides of SeongHwan in the same game. Great early gank, and now Ucal running away with this lane.
Well, he does a lot of damage. Both of these mid laners are just owning each other.
And Ucal wants to take the trades because he has barrier and the red buff to give him the healing and also extra dueling. So Ucal is actually taking supremacy in this lane after getting 2 shots super early and chugging through 9 corrupting potion stacks in the first 6 minutes. He's been able to take really good trades. We see the replay. How many people this season have been baited by this exact control wall?
I mean,
let's clear it.
There's an Ashe in the bottom side. You don't know where score is. You see Tahm Kench moving in. He's not going to try to kill you by himself. I wonder what could be coming next.
75 gold if that ward dies, Valdez.
Yeah, well, it's not worth it. He gave away 300 plus.
Smeb going for the depressed back timing, or at least channeled the depressed back timing with 4 stacks left on his cull. He's going to greed for the cash-in. This is what you do. The control wards there around the mid lane. This is spotted out.
You talked about TPing.
Yeah, this is really smart.
This is what you do.
Especially when the enemy has 4 cull stacks.
Yeah.
And you know he's desperate to stick around. Teleport in, take the top turret. ChoGath already doing well in the lane. That's without some shopping.
And now we got another TP, this time coming in from Lindarang from the top lane. Gonna save the mid turret. And that's a nice chunk of gold that Hanwha Life are able to gather on up. They're even going to start the Rift Heralds here.
Trying to punish Smeb for staying in the top side to get the cull stacks. He buys a lot of nice items, but if they want to fight, they got to fight soon.
Well, Hanwha Life, we saw their Rift Herald take percentage. It's really high. Also, the first turret is first for both of those stats that I just mentioned. So they love to do it. He taking a beating in the front line, is just going to hop away and be just fine.
What is that shield made of? It's so strong.
Usually it's a chimney, but this isn't Santa Braum.
Sorry about the visual lags, guys. Don't worry, that's just on our side. That's not with the players, in case you're wondering. Competitive integrity is definitely still going to be paramount.
Yeah.
Lava walks up here.
It's interesting how Lava hasn't been able to punish Ucal in the mid lane. They banned away a couple of other counters, the Rise and the Xerath, and they said it's okay if the LeBlanc comes into the lane, and Ucal has proven that he can actually fight up against this LeBlanc just straight up 1v1.
SeongHwan returning to the Rift Herald. Only a minute 30 of jungle proximity, but in those moments, it's been 3 kills, 2 against him, 1 with him. So a lot has happened. Where Trundle's gone, 4 kills actually, as he's got an assist as well. Ucal pushing in the mid lane. He's got his nationals too. Smeb wants to fight this. A lot of secure on the side of Hanwha Life, so that's why they have to go now.
Yep. They love this Rift Heralds. They are in love with Geraldine, and the Feast Smite is going to be super easy for Hanwha Life. We talked about the secure, even in vision. Lava is going to miss the chain there. And now Deft looking to hop forward, even though he is down 3 levels.
If he had the arrow, would have gone for a kill, I think, on the back end, since he has flash heal summoners available. Not going to find it.
You think he would have chose the correct LeBlanc?
Hard to say. It is a true 50-50 in every sense of the word. Well, word. Words are hard.
Yeah.
As Deft trying to push him bot side, trying to get their answering turret. Remember, KT still no turrets in this game, and they have a turret destruction early snowball comp. So they want to get as much gold into the game as possible, as early as possible.
They'll get a nice chunk in the bottom lane. Might be able to even take this one out, as a couple of minions are left over. We get the Ocean Drake as well. We'll tie that one up 1-1. And down will go the bottom turret. So we are all tied up in turrets. And even KT are still 1,000 gold ahead. After that, Lindarang with his Feast up. If he got the knockup, maybe he could do something, as the Lightning Rush was down, but Smeb is going to be just fine.
Imagine Lindarang will want to build a Frozen Heart at some point this game, because it's bonanza value against the comp from KT. Even Kennen wants to auto-attack to some degree. Would be the dream Frozen Heart game, but could also just be the Righteous Glory for Engage and pick potential on that ChoGath. 2 items done on Kennen, like we mentioned. You go for the cull, it delays your first item timing, but he's smack bang on 2 items and boots 2 at 20 minutes. But here's the Rift Herald. It's actually being channeled in the mid lane by SeongHwan.
That's what Hanwha Life love to do. Lava, though, he's going to face check. And look at Smeb just rolling face all over him. Flashes forward with the shuriken and gets the kill. 1v1, even though the turret goes down.
That's a Smeb brush. Whichever side he's on, he's always camping that brush to the right of our screen. Picks up the kill, expressionless on the camera. 400th game, first kill of the game for Smeb.
Stone cold killer right there. Not a hint of happiness or sadness as he takes down the poor LeBlanc.
Not a hint of excitement either.
Yes, of course.
Well, Lava got face checked on, so got instantly bursted. Had to hit the fadeaway Q, but able to match the flashes there. They have exact timer for that. Ucal's on the top side. He's going for a safe push. Very difficult to punish Tahm, Kench, Ashe in the mid lane.
TV comes in, they're going to save the turret for now, but SeongHwan even taking a little bit of damage on his way out. Kind of feels like if we do get into a fight, this Kindred is going to begin to just pop some champions down. Already 155 CS in the game and looking for a Storm Razor as the second item here.
And in this game, the 400th game for Smeb, it's 27th game for Smeb on the Kennen. He has an amazing career win rate of 21-5 for 81% career win rate on the Kennen. Definitely one of his signature picks. I think of Rumble, I think of the Kennen when I think of Smeb. Right now, Hanwha Life just trying to make it a game that's about face checking, about control wards on Baron. They just about get the recalls there, that was close. KT, this is the area where they can trip up, because remember, they're squishy champions, so you face check the wrong brush around Baron, you die, and there's huge secure on the side of Hanwha Life.
Oh yeah.
With the Blade of the Ruin King Rage Blade, they do the Baron very fast with the Varus, and they secure it with the ChoGath. It is an S+ tier Baron team from Hanwha Life.
It really is. I mean, even the turn is fantastic. You got the Braum, you have Pillar, you have Sangyoon, Chains of Corruption, the follow-up as well with all the different types of CC they lock into their composition. They would love to do it. It's definitely a Hanwha Life type of team. Easy to take turrets, easy to take objectives, easy to get the Baron. Like the idea. And yeah, you mentioned it. At least they do have the Lamb's Respite. Scores Kindred is going to have to be pretty nice tonight.
You already noted the Storm Razor, so there's a lot of burst on this Kindred. Very much a mid-game focus comp from KT. Shades of last year's KT Rolster. They want to make this game not about Baron. They want to keep it in lanes. In lanes, they have a lot more safety, and they have the flank potential of the Kennen. If it's around the Baron, we already talked about how Hanwha Life are desperate to make this a Baron game. See KT now, Kindred in base, Kennen split pushing. No flash on Smeb, but it's just the Sun turret, so it's going to be just a delayed play by KT.
Yeah, just waiting it out. Lindarang will return down here at the bottom side. Yeah. SeongHwan, it looks like he's going for that very standard build that we see out of a lot of tanky junglers nowadays. The Cinder Hulk into the Gem and then the Stone Plate.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's really
good. It's basically, I want to stick around, potentially pillar a couple of times and not die. That's what the build does really well. So Stone Plate, rather than something like a Spirit Visage, is what we very usually see from Trundles, especially. See from Score all the time. But Score has gone and said this burst build on the Kindred. This is not patch 8.15 in case you're wondering, so the Storm Razor isn't even cheaper like it is on the live patch, but undeniable value. And Warrior Storm Razor Rapid Fire Cannon, that's actually a lot of power and a lot of synergy on the first 3 items from Score.
Especially if Lava's looking to get any picks. You can really shut her down if she gets near you by just a couple of auto attacks. Lava obviously not going to be super tanky on the LeBlanc. And well, Hanwha Life, they were looking for a pick, but again, Motto was able to secure that Tahm Kench, because remember in the draft, Sangyoon and Hanwha Life, they picked Varus first instead of the Tahm Kench. Okay, this is going to be blocked here by Braum. He's going to lose about 20 health.
I thought that was just to draw a cooldown like the Unbreakable, but didn't seem like KT actually had follow-up to it. Smeb posturing in the bot side, soon to be level 16. Void Staff, I'm guessing, is going to be the next item because it's actually Banshee Veil and Abyssal Mask already. So they've actually indexed really high on magic resist just to get through all the damage, barring the Kindred and the Ashe. There's so much damage that you kind of have to choose your poison when it comes to resists or health. Nothing will be enough early game to answer KT's big damage output.
SeongHwan looking to pillar and block them away. There's that burst damage, but Score hops the wall and has to flash away. They get the knock up here on Tamada, who also has to flash away from it. Hanwha Life, you could say, why not chase? But they already got a bunch of summoners away from KT.
It's nice from Lava, instantly got that flash out of Score. Smeb is rejoined. This wasn't a teleport, just roamed down. Oh. It's tricky. These face checks against tank lines is difficult. Smeb can't just run through the mid and ult. It's going to be much more tricky. SeoHwan tried that the other day. It did not work. But Jinair.
Now, we're full ARAM now, boys. As it's 5v5 in the mid lane. Both these teams posturing. The lanes, though, are a lot better for Hanwha Life. Both of them pushing in the top and the bottom side. So they're happy to just do this for as long as KT would like.
Important thing is that Lava is not level 16. At level 16, he excels in situations like this with QR. Just poke down the squishy members of KT. This is the sort of game LeBlanc can really decide post 16.
Yeah.
Just jump in, poke out one of the 4.5 squishies on the side of KT, and just return. That's what LeBlanc can do very reliably. Seeing Hanwha Life, they're trying to kite up. KT trying to draw them into the open. This is really, really tense stuff. Nothing to pick between KT and Hanwha Life at 27 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Hanwha Life, they're just totally fine to do this as long as they don't get flanked by the Kennen, and that's exactly what's going to come happen. They have to give away the Mountain Drake because the TP comes in, so KT able to effectively stop that and get the Mountain Drake, but the lanes are pushing, and Hanwha Life are looking at mid.
Ucal taking a risky path to mid lane. Here's Lava.
Lava coming on in. It's going to miss the change, actually going between the two of them. I know they're thin, but man, there are a couple of champions.
That was actually both ultra risky from KT. Not just, hey, I wonder where the enemy is, but remember, Kennen was topside with no teleport because he used teleport just to get the Mountain Drake. So that was ultra risky by KT. They get away with it. Summoners were down. Could definitely have been punished there. They'll lose a bot lane outer turret, but not going to be the biggest thing to talk about. We lock and load from here. Score continues to clear on the way to his rapid fire cannon. Hanwha Life, they've got the reliable mid to late game comp, but KT, in so many games where I've said, all right, I think KT compositionally, the enemy team's got the more reliable team comp. KT have pulled off wondrous team fights 3 or 4 times this season that were stacked against them and against some of the best teams. KT can certainly do it. That's always been the case with this KT roster, this iteration. They can do anything, but the execution gets trickier and trickier, and Hanwha Life have held the wood over KT in recent memory.
Score just, he sold his dagger, and he bought a Hexdrinker.
Well,
I guess he's having
doesn't want to die.
Different thoughts about this LeBlanc, who is a bit scary.
Hexdrinker going to be useful because then he doesn't just have to ult himself instantly when the LeBlanc shows up. LeBlanc still level 15. Smeb has just pinged level 16, but still doesn't have that teleport available.
Yeah. It's a longer cooldown. It was canceled. Cool ChoGath skin. It's going to be back.
Gotta say this, no flash Tahm, Kench, and braum been the big thing today. Heal cleanse at the moment from Mata. Just doesn't want to get picked.
Yeah. I mean, if your flash is down, it can just tick down on the cooldown with your unsealed spellbook. Might as well get a different summoner while you're waiting.
Lava, as we can see, experience bar very close to level 16. Big tick in power onto the LeBlanc, getting the short cooldown on the Mimic. Looking at the tail of the tape, while it's been up and down, do notice the scale here is very relevant. The most it's ever fallen to is just over 2,000 gold lead for KT. So they haven't been able to blow open the game with 4 damage dealers and reliable initiation. And Hanwha Life starting to make this a Baron game, which I think could be really tricky for KT to stop.
Yeah, this is what I expected between these two teams. Maybe a little bit more action, but KT just deciding, no, we're just not really able to stop Hanwha from taking the Rift Herald and a couple of turrets in particular. I feel like Hanwha Life has played this early game quite well, even though the gold lead is slightly in KT's advantage. Looks like the game should move on as neither team is making mistakes. The chains of corruption do come in. Gonna lock down Mata here, and well, he just throws one in the wind. Uh-oh, Sangyoon gonna get stunned up here, but look at the burst damage coming out of lava.
Watch Smeb.
Okay, gonna get the knock up here and a score, has to devour him. Smeb trying to go in, but decides against it last second, especially with the super low health on score and Deft.
He didn't want a front door flash ultimate, and he wanted to see if he could draw out a flash with just lightning rush.
Yeah.
Kind of like you might just body slam in his Gragas and see if you get a flash to respect the flash play. So, KT don't bite off more than they can chew, but this is so tense between KT and Hanwha Life.
It's extremely close, right? The braum, unfortunately, not able to get in front of Sangyoon there, but it almost baited KT into dying against the LeBlanc.
They actually got a more important summon spell than I realized. Key used his exhaust during that fight. That is the only exhaust they have access to, and it's AP Kennen, so that is actually a really important cooldown that KT could try to set up around.
And he picks up Smite too, which might actually bait them into going for this Baron.
Oh, they do it
Speaking of
so
which,
fast.
They're just going to do it, even in Vision.
They do it really, really fast.
Okay, let's see. It's really going to be up to Smeb here, but he's a little bit out of spot. He's not close enough to stop this, I don't think.
So much secure.
Okay, there it is. The beast comes in, and here comes Smeb, the 5-man ultimate. So much damage in the front line. Unbelievable. The Baron goes to Hanwha, but 4 kills go to KT. The triple kill for Smeb.
He came through the front door, and there was a cake there for him because they didn't have exhaust. It was the easiest ult ever.
They had to go for the Baron. They had to finish it because it was too low. Hanwha Life group up for the perfect ultimate there. Unbelievable. And now KT, they don't care about the Baron. They're just going to push the turrets.
Oh boy, Hanwha Life, they focus so much on what they have, which is Baron damage and Baron secure, but they forget they have no exhaust, and the Kennen just rushes in and aces them. That's a huge win for KT. It is not worth it to trade 2 inhibitors for the Baron.
No, definitely not. And they are going to get both, it looks like here.
Just the turret, maybe, for the second one.
Okay, yeah, Lava actually getting in there. Trying to poke a little bit, but a huge swing now as the Baron gold goes to Hanwha, but 5,000 gold ahead is KT. As now they're Azir 2-0-2 with the extra goal, 4-0-1 on Smeb. He is going to be a monster.
You don't need to hear the Korean comms to understand. They're saying, no, we can finish it. I have double smite. I have the secure of the ChoGath. We're going to get the Baron. That was all true. Unfortunately, nobody said, wait, I don't have the exhaust. And Smeb just says, thank you very much for the ace. I'm AP Kennen and free farmed. Hanwha Life. They had half the picture perfect, but the other half was unfortunately not what they needed. We do see a LeBlanc in the side lane with the Baron. That will buy some time. Cloud Drake will be theirs. 5,532 damage AP Kennen. And, you know, during that CC, they couldn't do any damage. They dumped it into the Baron, and then they couldn't move due to the slicing Maelstrom.
That's the one thing we didn't mention when we talked about the Baron composition is, well, if you group up as 5, you might just get Kennen ultimate as 5, and that's exactly what did happen. Only Lava was the one that was able to split up, as he is on that very mobile LeBlanc, but the Varus was stuck. Everybody else doesn't have mobility. And now they're looking to actually catch Mata, who used his flash. And look at that frontline. Deft is going to get chunked down, has to flash away. Here's Smeb again. It's going to just zone us for now, looking to silence him. And there it is. The Devour comes in for Mata. This chains of corruptions onto Tahm Kench means that Hanwha Life cannot follow up.
Smeb, he used his first ace. Don't know if that was Zonia's or just a stopwatch.
Interrupted the Abyssal Voyage there.
Nicely done, actually. They were looking for the flank, like you mentioned. So cool play coming through from SeongHwan. Game's not over, even though KT got a pretty mortal blow onto Hanwha Life. It's a TP, actually.
Hanwha really want to
fight here. They just want to poke Smeb.
See if they can do it. Lava's going to miss his chains. Score with that burst is able to push him away.
Okay.
And there it is. The scoop up on the Sangyoon. He deletes that 80 carry. Mata's going to get super low, but now Smeb in the front line. He's able to take out Key. Lindarang has to run away. And Ucal, he's looking to dunk on Hanwha Life this time around. Lava alone, not able to take all of them out here. And, well, it looks like Score's even going to flash on in. He wants that kill. But it looks like KT are going to push to end the game.
I mean, Score should definitely just run at Lava to stop him getting the Baron buff into the base to stop the minions from pushing the Baron buff waste anyway. Trundle trying to do his thing. It's 1-for-1 in the trade, such as LeBlanc with the shot mimic cooldown. Trundle's going to get a back. Can they actually end the game here? KT rolls. They have 2 ranged auto attackers, but Trundle's here just to be annoying.
I think they might be able to. 7 seconds on the Varus. That's really the only hope here for Hanwha Life. And now SeongHwan is going to get too low and go down as he's trying to stop the
Varus
end.
back.
Varus alone, though, against 4 members. They're just going to arrow him key. Flashing forward, trying to stop this game from going down. But look at Deft. He's standing and delivering. They know they're going to win the game. And that's going to do it. Game 1 is going to go to the side of KT.
KT Rolster are blessed with 5 match winners. They may have 4 legends, but Ucal is a super rookie debuting in 2018. 2 big moments from their stars. Smeb knows exactly the equation. Cool Baron, I've got my AP Kennen ult, and you don't have exhaust. And then Ucal on his Azir pick they took in the first round, where they said, we're not going to take the Gragas you're forcing us into. We're